and welcome to our 29th Annual International Conference. This is the second slot featuring our good friend Dimitris Primalis, Mr. Dimitris Primalis, but he's a very good friend of ours. So, Dimitri, welcome once again. Dimitris has been.
Feels like being at home.
It does, especially as you are at home. There was a time when we had those lovely conferences in Thessaloniki with the lovely food, but yeah, we will in a
We'll
little
do it
while.
again.
Yes, we
We'll
will
do
do
it
it
again.
again. So Dimitris has been teaching English as a foreign language for 30 years, although he's only 35, including all levels of education as well as business English. He has also written 5 test books for Macmillan. He's a freelance materials designer. He gives workshops on introducing and integrating learning technology into syllabi. He's particularly interested in developing speaking, writing, and 21st century skills and integrating technology and innovation into a daily practice. He's also a devoted Tesoler. He served as Tesol Greece newsletter editor for 2 years, and he was the vice chair and chair of Tesol Greece from 2012 to 2013. Today, Dimitris is doing us a great favor by opening the AI strand. We didn't plan it. It just so happened that we have quite a lot of sessions on AI. His is the broadest one, entitled Engage Your Class with AI Activities, Tips, and Hints. He is going to talk to us about how AI can spark interaction, enhance skills development, and his workshop is going to focus on activities, tips, and hints to boost learning in the EFL classroom. Without further ado, Mr. Dimitris Primalis.
Well, thank you very much. I feel like being at home. Tesol macedonia-thrace has been a very warm and supportive organization, association, teacher association, and we've learned so many things throughout the years, from the presentations, the conferences, the international convention, and we're really looking forward to meeting you face to face very, very soon. Now, obviously, because this is meant to be a workshop, it's not going to be a lecture. Feel free to interact through the chat box. Give your opinion. At some point, we will ask you to. I will ask you to interact. Now, I know you're wondering what we will be talking about. Well, today we're going to solve a big mystery. Now, if my there we go. Great. Okay. Well, I'm sure you all know Mona Lisa. Any ideas about what Mona Lisa might be trying to tell us? Can I see in the chat box? What do you think Mona Lisa is trying to tell us? Any ideas in the chat box? Look at me. Enjoy life. Yes, but I'm trying. Okay, I have something to tell you. That's very interesting. Okay, well, let's see if she could talk, what she would say.
Why is my smile enigmatic? Trying not to chuckle with all the theories and gossip about me and Leo. Leonardo da Vinci, not Leo DiCaprio.
Well, that could be a possible answer. What you saw is an avatar created with artificial intelligence, and we're going to see later on how this is done.
Why is my smile?
So today we're going to see some activities that you can do with your students in order to engage them. The first one, you've just seen it, and I will explain how you can easily do that with an avatar. With AI, created images, debates, interacting with AI, and possibly, if we've got time, we might also talk about animation and how students can animate their stories. Now, if you feel that this is far too complicated to create an avatar, this is only one of the many, many apps. If you type create talking avatar, this is called Vidnos, but there are so many out there. Synthesia is another one. Actually, it's much, much simpler than you think. This is the main page. You just sign up and you create an account with just your email and a password. There's a free version. Most of these tools have a free version, so you don't have to pay for that. If you want better services, or if your expectations are higher, then there's a pricing policy. You decide. I chose the Mona Lisa, but it could have been simply it could have been my picture, my photo, or you can create any other avatar. You enter the text. This is the text that you listen to. And of course, you can choose. You can either have a voice created by AI, or you can have a voiceover. In other words, you can invite your students to impersonate Mona Lisa. Then you press the preview button. And as you can see, I've actually used it several times, sometimes with my photo. It generates a video, you download it, it's an MP4 file. Most of these apps usually allow you to have subtitles as well, which is quite interesting. Now, another very interesting feature, because we're going to talk about it later on, is that you can create a background, or you can actually create an avatar of a reporter reporting the news, which is a very interesting activity that you can have with your students. So before I tell you my ideas, would you like to share your ideas? How could you use avatars with your classes? Any ideas? Feel free to write them in your in the chat box.
You can also unmute and speak.
Yes, of course they can do that. Feel free to do that. The consistencies, very good. Yes. Introduce a topic. Great ideas by Jasmina. Okay, well, in a pre-writing brainstorming activity. That's very interesting, Linda. I'm looking forward to seeing how you would use it, and maybe you can present it in another event. Okay, well, let's see how I would use it. With my
I have also an idea. Excuse me for interrupting. Hello and welcome for once more. I used the AI, especially in Avatar, when I taught the utilitarian theory at an experimental high school 2 years ago. I was actually trying to teach them the dilemma. What would you do? Would you kill one, or would you kill five? In a particular animated setting with Simpsons. So I used Simpson to talk and present some particular instances while I was presenting the topic. So it was as if I was talking with Simpson in this case, and children loved it. And they already knew how to do it. It was part of a clear method. And the kids just loved it, and I started using it in other ways. But with private lessons or with other groups, it's a bit more difficult, but it's not something that would not happen. I mean, we could actually use it in many other cases too, and depending, of course, on what kind of material we have and what kind of classes we have, even differentiated learning as well. So yeah.
That's right. As Kostadina has correctly pointed out, it can be used on different occasions. You can use it on asynchronous education. You can use your photo. You can use any other photo that you want. Mind you, if your students are interested in creating their own avatars and you want to share these pictures, you need to make sure that the parents have signed a GDPR form. Legislation is quite strict when it comes to personal data. But other than that, as Kostadina said, children are thrilled, students are thrilled. It's a welcome change. And of course, there's an element of humor in the class. So, some more ideas. You can interview famous paintings or works of art. You can have animals talking about humans. What would a cat tell about her owner? You could have inanimate objects like mirrors telling their story. Can you imagine the mirror in Snow White's tale? What would the mirror say about the queen? I have a feeling that Kim Kardashian would probably pale compared to what the queen wanted. Now, that could be interesting to invite your learners to write about it. Invite students to do voiceovers when they create their avatars. You could also have a news report simulation. If you're doing CLIL, you can have plants promoting environmental campaigns or anything else that might stimulate students' interest, and it would involve them actively in creating content. And speaking of the environment, I don't know if you've heard the latest news. There we go. Vatican's holy rollers officials embrace skateboards for city transport. Believe it or not, yes, that's big news. In a modern twist, Vatican officials have chosen skateboards as the official mode of transportation within the Holy City, blending tradition with innovation. I knew that the Pope is very progressive, but to be honest, I never thought he would go that far. Now, what do you think about it? I think I can see some people frowning. Something seems to be wrong there, right? Yes, yes, FTHs, that's fake. This is fake. It's AI generated, very good. But of course, actually, there seem to be quite a few fake AI generated images with the Pope. Most of them are quite humorous. I'm sure he wouldn't mind. It is cool. Another one of my favorites is the Pope with a puffer jacket, and this is fairly harmless. Um, uh, that seems to be quite a challenge for students. Um, for instance, you can find many more. You can see the source there, but if you Google AI created fake images or fake images created with AI, you're going to find many. Now, the first thing that I would think of is invite students to tell you what the story is behind the pictures. Uh, the lizard seems to be quite cool in her tutu, and I'm sure that Donald Trump would like to join the police force. Quite unlikely, though, taking into consideration his age. Sometimes, we can use AI to invite students to be creative and use their imagination. Students know about fake news, but raising awareness has never hurt anybody. If you're teaching C2 level students, this is a very interesting article about fake news. You can initiate discussions about biases, about discrimination, about how even deepfake videos, deepfake originally referred to fake videos created with the use of AI, but I think it's rapidly expanding to images and texts as well. And if you're teaching younger students, this is a very interesting source, the Science Journal for Kids. It's got a very nice handout. You can take things from there. There's a teacher's guide, but you need to sign up so that they can get your email and they can email it to you. And since we're talking about fake news, before I share with you what activities I usually do with my students, any ideas of how you would use fake news and deepfake with your class?
I think I would be interested in getting them to brainstorm and discuss how they can be protected, because they usually fall
Exactly.
for it. I am not very good. I'm not very good at getting protected. So I think it would be a process of co-discovery, which is what I enjoy the most. I want my students to find opportunities to tell me instead of me telling them.
Yes, yes, it's true. Sometimes though we take it for granted that they know how to protect themselves from the danger because they're um, digital natives. In other words, they were born with technology, whereas most of us are digital immigrants. We got used to technology, we gradually adopted it, but to our surprise, they seem to be completely unaware of the dangers. And that's normal because they're very young. They don't know, they don't have schematic knowledge. And even legislators, they're still trying to find out about the implications of using AI in everyday life and what might be a crime and what might not be a crime and what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. So here are some ideas about how you can use fake images or fake news or fake videos. Ask your students to write a news bulletin covering the story. Completely fictional. Ask them to write an email to their newspaper, website, wherever they spot it at, complaining about not cross-checking the sources and referring to the ethical implications. Ask them to become detectives. Invite learners to prove that this is fake, not by searching by using the image, but using critical thinking and searching skills. For instance, in the case of the photo with the Pope, how old is the Pope? Is the Pope into skateboarding? Would that be possible for the Pope to do it? Ethical dilemma discussions. You can have a selection of deepfake content. It's very easy if you Google it. And you can include some harmless and some potentially harmful examples. When it comes to politicians, usually it might be harmful because when it comes to politicians and business people, it might harm their reputation. And of course, you can ask them to write a persuasive task. You can ask students to write an essay or make a speech addressing the dangers or the benefits of deepfake technology. As Efthymia says, organize a debate concerning fake news. Yes, because it's part of their everyday life, isn't it? And it's becoming a part of our life as well. Now, since we're talking about debates, and Efthymia talked about debates, I will be tempted to share with you some very interesting tools, but I would like you to act as if you were students. So let's see if I can find it and I can share it with you. What if we had a debate? All right. Let's see if I can use it. Here we are. I think now you can see my screen. Now, what would you like to have a debate on? It could be about deepfake, or it could be about anything you like. Any ideas about the topic?
Let's go with deepfake.
Okay. Okay. So let's say, should AI images be, say, banned from the social media? Okay, let's see. And who would you like to engage in a debate? In other words, who would you like to talk with? Shall we say Bill Gates? I think he probably knows much more than we do. Okay. Okay, maybe later. And let's see. Shall we have Bill start? Why not? Let's see what Bill Gates says about it. I hope you can read my screen. He's got a couple of valid points. One of them, restricting their presence on social media would stifle progress and limit the potential for AI, contribute positively to various industries. Now, what would you reply to Bill? I know he's a very nice guy, but obviously I know that some of you might want to highlight the dangers of deepfake.
How can we be protected?
Would you like to write 1 or 2 lines in the chat box so that we can see how the tool works? Feel free to write anything, just a couple of lines. The way you would ask your students to do that. I often use that with C2 candidates. As you can see, the level is okay. There we go. Let me copy it. I'm going to have it here. Pasting it. And let's see what's going to respond. There we go. We've got one more. I'm just pasting them and let's see what happens. How can we be protected by them? How would you prevent online bullying if there's no control over AI-generated images? Let's see the response. While concerns about online bullying are valid, the solution lies in addressing behavior and regulations rather than banning AI-generated images, implementing and enforcing, etc., etc., etc. What the very interesting thing about it, it's called debateai.org, is that the level of the responses is of very good, is quite high. It's usually C2 level. I've tried that several times with my students, and they see that often as a challenge. Right? We usually have a lead. Yesterday, we were talking about the Baltimore bridge that collapsed because a cargo ship collided, and there was we had this debate whether the top priority should be safety or the cost of building a bridge or other infrastructure. And I had the student writing some paragraphs, and AI responded in a very satisfactory way. It's a very useful tool. Whenever I use it with my students, they loved it. If I were in your shoes, I would probably try that. You could either try that in class. If you use it with many students, you can invite them to write it on a piece of paper, or you can create an online document, a Word document or a Google document, and you can copy and paste their answers there. The good thing is that the reply is given in real time. They don't have to wait. And of course, they have to respond to what AI replies to them, which is quite interesting. And most of the times it is a challenge, let's face it.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I can see that we chose amongst a number of personalities.
You can choose anyone you like, anyone you like.
So they have everybody available. How have they, what have they done? What is the, I do not even know what to call it. It's not a software.
No, it's not real. It's not real because when I first tried using the tool, I used it with Donald Trump. And well, judging by what I've seen so far from Donald Trump, he never ever uses sophisticated language. However, the language used by the bot, this is a bot. It's a tool. It's a language tool that uses. It's been fed with millions of texts, and it makes randomly a selection of words of language, of chunks of language, so that it can put together the reply. It was not the tone and style of Donald Trump. Even though I don't know him personally, I wouldn't say this is the way that Donald Trump would reply. But A, your students are involved. 2, it's the kind of challenge that you would have them in class. And because the level is of language is quite high, sometimes they struggle, but they like the idea. So yes, you know, and I know that it is not what Bill Gates would probably say, or it's very close to what he would say. You can never be sure about it. It's a virtual, it's an avatar, in other words, just like the pictures that we used. So it's not credible in that sense. However, it's a very useful tool if you want to involve your students. Let me show you another tool, and I apologize for minimizing that. I'll just stop sharing for a minute. I want to show you another interesting tool, which is, again, a bot, just like the one we saw. It's like ChatGPT, but it can offer you different functions. Okay, there we go. Let's see that what we could use, it's called Mizu. I think now we can see it. And we don't have much time. The tool is called Mizu, M-I-Z-O-U. You can have a discussion with Martin Luther King. You can even listen.
Welcome, young friends. I'm Martin Luther King Jr. I'm here to share my journey and dreams with you. Let's start our conversation.
Now, the problem is, obviously, Martin Luther King did not sound like a woman. So, you know, that's not real. But for students who have, who might be suffering from hearing impairment, from reading problems, and they would like to listen to it, this is just an option. And you can invite students to have a conversation with Martin Luther King. The good thing is that they can ask the question, they can write the question, or they can record themselves. For instance, what would you like to ask Martin Luther King? In the meantime, and while you're writing that, is the discussion supposed to be in the classroom? What if there are unknown words to work on the spot? If your students have devices, you can invite them to look up unknown words in a dictionary. Otherwise, you help them with that. So randomly, I would say, why did you decide to defend underprivileged people? Yeah, why did you decide to fight for human rights? Yes. Yeah, my typing skills are horrible. Okay. Yes, we've been there for quite a long time, so no, it's not going to work. I need to refresh it. But anyway, you can easily try that with your students. They get a reply, they receive a reply, just like the way we saw with Debate AI. It's called Mizu. It's very interesting as a tool, and it's got a wide range. All you need to do is sign up. It's got a wide range of functions. For example, you could have a discussion with a pharaoh, or you can play the Who Am I game. There are so many things that you can do with it. I know we're running late, so I'll just try and give some more tips about people who would like to use AI. I'm sure that the next speakers have got so many interesting things to share with you. It was just a glance at what you can do with your students. Okay, so let's go to the tips part. Try not to use too many apps or tools. And that's because students tend to try to explore the potential of the tools. And finally, they don't pay attention to the content. Explore their potential before your students do that. So that you know and you can guide your students not to waste time using the tools if they use them by themselves. And try to give them clear instructions. not everybody is a digital native. There are students who are not very tech savvy. They might know how to scroll down their mobile phone screen, but that doesn't mean that they have very good technological skills. Try to focus on the content, on what your students are going to produce. AI can help you with the aesthetic part, with animation, I'd say the impressive part, the wrapping. But what you're interested in is the content. Provide feedback on what your students do and try to help them to improve. Share student work wherever that's possible. Students love to have an audience. And because now AI can provide very interesting graphics, the aesthetic result is fantastic. They feel very proud of themselves. And above all, I would say praise learner originality. Students very often feel that if they use ChatGPT to present us with a perfect essay, that we will be happy. No, that's not what we're interested in. We're interested in their ideas and in what they have produced. And sometimes we need to remind students that that's the reason why we're there, to help them become better, not just to show us something that they've copied and pasted from a bot. After all, it's not going to be original. And finally, I would say that we need to remember that AI is just a tool. It is up to us to use it prudently and creatively. Thank you very much for being with me. I know it's time for lunch. If you want to contact me and ask me more information, feel free to do that. There's my email. There's my blog. I usually share my ideas there. And thank you very much, Tesol macedonia-thrace, Northern Greece, for the invitation.
Thank you so much, Dimitris. And I would like to invite people. I mean, it's just 2 minutes after the time we need to break for lunch. If there are any pressing questions for our speaker, thank you for starting with your talk, the strand on AI. I think we still have a lot of learning to do so that we stop being afraid of it and we use it the way it should be used. So I cannot see any questions. Let's eat so that we don't feel too hungry. I will close down the room so that I can download the 2 presentations, and we'll come back at 35 past. That would be just 5 minutes after 2:30 with Miss Nareha Kobian. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.